What's up, you guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be about what if Sakura was a yandere for Naruto. Let's get into it. But also, if you guys hear anything, just know I am in my bed or my window is open. So if you hear anyone playing music like out there, even though it's 2 a.m. in the morning, my bad. I'll be as loud as I can, but not that loud because my family is asleep, even though a few of them are awake. So yeah, let's get to this fanfic. Also, there's another fanfic of this. The one that I'm gonna read to you guys is kind of short, so I'm gonna have to come with my own idea for the rest of it. But if you guys want me to read the other fanfic, I will be reading it blindly without knowing the end, and I will be reading it with you guys. So yeah, well, let's just get into the video. Sakura was upset. It's been almost a week since she and Naruto had their first mission with Yamato and Sai, which turned out to be a failure, since they had been unable to return with Sasuke. And since their return, Sakura had felt like crap almost every day. She woke up with through a dull headache from the scar on her arm from Naruto's tail. But that was nothing compared to the pounding headache she would wake up to, which would come and go throughout the day, and she kept feeling weird emotionally. Sometimes she would feel a sort of deep guilt or pain when she couldn't think of any reason for it. Sometimes she thought she would hear someone faintly talking when she was alone. Maybe just feeling bad that I couldn't bring Sasuke-kun back. She she thought just before she experienced a shot of pain in the back of her head. Uh, damn it. I need some rest before I should ask Tsunade Sensei about this. Maybe she can help. She took some she took some headache medical like, m- medical medical equipment and laid down in her bed and thought she heard a faint chuckle as she drifted to sleep. Sakura, without the slight pain in her head, instead, she felt the sun on her face and a gentle breeze on her skin. Wait, I left the window closed. She opened her eyes to find she was in her room, but on a hill in a beautiful. Hold on. Jesus Christ. Closed in, in a. But on a hill in a beautiful closed garden. Below there was a small stream flowing from under one wall and around the garden before going under another wall. There were strange, unknown, but beautiful flowers all around, and even though the sky was thick with clouds, she could feel delight. She could feel this distant sunlight, and atop the hill, she was she was she was an unbelievably large sakura tree in full blossom. She felt compelled to investigate this tree, and when she got closer, she saw a dark hole among its roots. What is this place? She got closer to the hole and found a strange bare barred door that seemed like it had been forced open. A broken padlock on the ground nearby. What the hell happened here? I I got tired of being locked up, so I busted out. Sakura whirled around to see herself. This is this her seemed older, though more developed under the red kimono she wore, and seemed to have something written on her forehead, which was mostly covered by her hair, which reached which covered by her hair, which reached to the small wait no to the small of her back, and seemed a darker pink than normal. But the biggest difference between them were that the older well, I'm sorry y'all, I had to yawn, tired a bit, but let's continue. Biggest difference between them were that the older version, darker green eyes, had slit pupils and a long, a, a elephant, and a long, a green red tail swing behind her. What are you? Where am I? Sakura stumbled as she Sakura stammered as she stumbled back. The other her chuckled. Well, this is your mind, your soul. This place is within your own subconscious. And as for me, she smiled from ear to ear. I'm you. What do you mean you're me? And how could this be my mind? And how could you be me if you have a tail? I have this tail for some reason. I'm not locked up anymore. The older Sakura sounded angry. I am your true feelings, the parts of you that you always kept suppressed, kept locked up in there. She motioned to the broken door. I got tired of being locked up like that. Tired. I got tired of being locked up like that. Tired of you denying your true feelings, of denying me, of denying your true self. So when you were struck by the Kyuubi's tail last week, a wave of his chakra washed through here, and I grabbed some of it and took it into myself. Her smile grew a bit feral. A new power grew in me, and I broke out of the cage, and you had me. The cage you had me in. So now I have a demon in me. What do you want? Sakura asks, getting scared. Is this some kind of thing Naruto has to deal with? No, Naruto-kun probably doesn't have to talk with Kyuubi if he doesn't want to, but we could ask him. The fox girl smiled at Sakura, confusion. We're in your head, and we're in your head. I am a part of you. Did you think I wouldn't know what you're thinking? And as for what I want you to accept me as a part of you. I want you to accept your true feelings and become the real you. What do you mean? There are feelings you have kept down. You have kept down and denied for years. Things you need to accept, and once you do, there will be no purpose for me. We will become one. What are you talking about? I haven't denied anything. Yes, you have. You've denied the most important most important of feelings forced it down and locked it away in favor of physical lust and attention. And in the name of a childish crush, you denied our true love. Sakura dear. Oh, hold on. Any I'm I'm just gonna say I'm gonna try and say the name. If I get it wrong, I'm sorry. Akira Haruno called opening her daughter's door. Oh, she's sleeping. My sweet little angel. She was probably working hard at the hospital again. The mother pulled a blanket over the young woman. I guess it's better than those missions she has to go on with it. She left the room, closing the door behind her. But she didn't notice as she left the room a soft red growing aura around her child. What do you mean? I never denied my love, and I told him I loved him. But Sasuke-kun, smack, the fox girl backhanded Sakura across her face, knocking her to the ground. Don't you call that vile bastard that again, she growled, a violent aura surrounding her. Not after he betrayed our village, and definitely not after he tried to kill Naruto-kun. Naruto-kun, you're telling me you love him? Sakura said, dumbfounded. Fox Sakura took a deep breath and tried to keep as calm as she could. No, I'm saying we love him. You're just so far in denial you couldn't find your way out of a map out your way out with a map and compass. What are you talking about? I love Sasuke-kun. She was cut off by a low growl. I do love Sasuke. He's dark, intelligent, handsome, and he's a cruel, hateful, spiteful traitor, a-hole who never showed a single positive emotion, always jealous, hatred, and bitterness. Naruto-kun, on the other hand, the older woman said with a dreamy sigh, is kind, handsome, cheerful, light-hearted, and loving even if he's a bit dense. He never said a single bad thing about you, although Kami knows we deserve it. We deserve it more often than not. He has done everything he could to help us and the others, with little to no comforter, with little to no consideration for his own safety. He would happily give his life for anyone he cares about, and the fact he can trust or care about anyone after the life he lived is a miracle itself. Has Uchiha ever really done anything that didn't directly benefit him? Do you even remember when and why your crush started? When Sakura shook her head, she asked, well, do you even remember when you started to like Naruto? The fox girl smiled and what and forget it. The fox girl smiled and hustled Sakura off the ground, hassled or whatever Sakura off the ground by her collar and carried her towards a small pond that formed among the stream. Yes, I do. Now watch and remember, she said after setting the kunoichi on the ground. The foxwoman dipped a finger in the water, which started to ripple and change, forming an image before them. Oh yeah, guys, I know it's a bit late for this, but I had already read this, but just in case, there might be an adult scene in this, so yeah. Anyway, back to the story. Before them, the pawn had an image of a young, pink-haired little girl, alone and crying. Little Sakura sat underneath a tree, crying her heart out. A few girls, who by now had moved across the playground, had been tormenting her again. Sakura just sat with her head on her knees, trying to forget what they had been saying when she heard a sudden scream. The girls who were tormenting her had somehow became corrupt, covered in paint. One had the bucket still on her head, and all, and all of them were colored a si- sticking, st- sickling, sickle. Oh my God, no, I'm not saying that right. Sickling green all over. Uh, uh, gross. Ha. Guess little green girls won't have any reason to make fun of people, right? Sakura looked up to see a young blonde boy standing next to her. He seemed scrawny and un and undeaf, whatever, and undorfed, and his clothes were worn and old, maybe even older than the boy himself, but he was wearing a large smile on his face. Why did you do that? The young girl said with a confused look. What makes you so sure I did it? The boy asked with a fox-like smile before sheepishly scratching his head. Besides, anyone who makes a pretty flower like you cry deserves to look like a weed for a while. Did he just call me pretty? Sakura thought, turning a faint pink. I'm Sakura. Sakura Haruno. I'm pleased to meet you. The name's Naruto Uzumaki. Nice to meet ya. Sakura. The girl looked up to see her mother running towards her, just before smacking the boy on the head. What did you do to my daughter, you little monster? You little monster. How dare you make my angel cry? Hitting the boy again before he finally ran away. And, oh my God, Sakura's mother turned to see her daughter crying again. It's okay, honey, he's gone. Why, mommy? The girl screamed at her mother. I almost had I almost had a friend like Eno. Why did you chase him away? She cried before she ran off. Sakura ran home, locked herself in her room, and cried into a pillow for the rest of the night. Fox Sakura sighed, a sad look spreading across her face. That was the first time we met Naruto-kun. The first time he went out of his way to make us happy. And the first time we saw how cruel people treated him. We didn't, we, we didn't, I didn't know what we thought was love. When we went back to the academy, we saw, we saw the way all the other girls acknowledged Uchiha Tame and were dumb enough to try and fit in by swinging over him, so the other girls wouldn't make fun of us anymore. Tears started to fall from her eyes. That was a dumb move. It cost us our friend, and worse. We mistreated Naruto-kun just to fit in better. Eventually, we fell for our own act. The The true feelings didn't resurface until Uchiha left, and that promise Naruto-kun made lifelong. That promise Naruto-kun made that that lifelong promise, completely forgetting his own happiness for her own. She turned to the younger her. Can you think of any real reason to love the Uchiha? Any real justification for one for waiting for him after all he's done? The youth had an empty look as she continued to stare into the now blank waters. After hearing all that from the fox girl, she was drawing a blank. She let out a hollow laugh. You know, I can't think of a damned thing anymore. She rubbed the cheek that the fox girl had hit and smiled. But it is kind of weird. Find literally breathing some sense into myself. Sorry, I just got a bit upset. No, it was the right thing to do. So how will this work out with me and you? Inner Sakura smirked. I think it's already begun. When you wake up, you should be complete again. But I'm not sure if my powers will stay with you, she said, indirectly reaching for her tail. If the fox chakra I absorb does take root in the main chakra flows, you may change physically. I don't know to what end though. Sakura pulled the inner her into a hug, feeling a strange warmth spread from her belly. I handle that when I need to. Right now, I think I just want to go see our Naruto-kun. She looked up into the green, slitted eyes. I see you in the mirror. The garden then faded from her vision. Sakura woke to notice a few things. First, she herself was eliminating a dimly violet glow. Second, her chest felt heavier than before. And lastly, she felt a strange pain in her lower back. She jumped from her bed and scratched a bit before she heard a strange rip and the pain disappeared. She rushed to her mirror to see if something had happened and was pleasantly surprised she wasn't quite as developed as her inner self, but her form had filled filled out more than before, and she had some more muscle on her frame than before. Her hair had darkened a bit and grown a couple of inches. Her eyes had slits for pupils, and her ears had lengthened a bit, with pointed tips poking out from her hair a bit. Her new tail, which had torn through part of her shorts to get out, was the same hot pink color as her hair. Okay, I'm just going to read a few more sentences, and I think because I'm getting a bit sleepy, I'm gonna end it. So yeah, I was wondering if this means I'm a demon now. Mom is gonna be pissed. She said to no one as she headed to her window. She was almost knocked on her a-hole when she opened it and was hit with a variety of smells and sounds. She gave herself a few seconds to get used to it. I feel like an Inuzuka, she thought as she mentally sniffed through the scents trying to figure out what was what, until she came to a faint trail that smelled a bit like a mixture of river, water, ramen, sweat, and a couple of things she felt she knew but couldn't 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 place. Kami, that must be Naruto scent, she thought, when she noticed how excellent excited the smell made her feel. Sakura jumped out of her window, heading straight for the source of the smell that made her feel so warm. Okay guys, I'm gonna end off the video. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe if you like. And yeah, I'm see you guys later. Goodbye.